Are you still using the outdated Instagram tips and strategies in order to try to grow your account? If so, keep on watching because I'm going to share with you the 7 outdated Instagram tips that are no longer a thing for any small business. So if you're still using any of them, it's time for you to stop. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jelena Ostrovska from JelenaOstrovska.com, and I create organic social media content for 6-figure female coaches that sells. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The outdated tip number 1 is engagement pods. So this is a strategy that I'm actually guilty of using several years ago when people were even saying already like, hey, do not use that kind of strategy because it is going to hurt your account. So essentially what an engagement pod is a group of people. It can be on Instagram or even on Telegram or on Twitter, where there's a small group of people where every single time somebody posts, you engage on each other's content. Now, it all sounds great and it's like, why would Instagram crack down on that? The problem with that is it's always the same people engaging with each other, and Instagram is not always going to push out your content if it's really bad. So you're essentially relying on fake engagement that is just alongside with your peers. Now, something that I do instead right now, so instead of me participating intentionally with in engagement pods, I cross promote my Instagram account on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere that I show up. I make sure that my Instagram content is visible to those people, right? So right now, personally, I am inside of a coaching community where it's a lot of service providers, it's a lot of coaches, so it's about 200 of us, and we have a small group of people that are incredibly active on Twitter and Instagram. So of course we're gonna go out and support each other, but we do not count it as an engagement pod because we don't really have a group where we're just like, okay, it's time to engage on everybody. No, we just share our content on social media and then we naturally see each other and we support and share. So that's how you do it naturally without having that intention. Just build the relationships with people and the engagement and the growth will come. Outdated tip number 2, follow unfollow method. Man, the way that I just despise that method is insane. So essentially what the method is about is you go follow a bunch of people without connecting with them, without messaging them. Sometimes people do message and send some fake engagement, or there used to be a strategy, 3 recent posts and leave 1 comment, reply to a story, and it just becomes so robotic if you keep doing that to every single person. Eventually it becomes, again, unnatural. You want to make sure that you actually connect with people and there's something in common. So, and the way follow and follow method works is you follow a bunch of people, and if you have 1,000 followers and you're following 5,000 people, that just doesn't seem right. Okay, so do not do that with an intention, oh, that person followed me, now I'm gonna go ahead and unfollow them. Make sure that you build a connection. Which leads me to the outdated tip number 3, which I am kind of blown away, I even have to mention it, buying followers. Okay, so there are still services to this day, I've gotten pitched with them, I've got emails about them, and I've had an itch to try, a small itch, especially when you look at testimonials and everything looks legit. It's we're gonna send you so many followers and we're gonna send you to target the audiences, and I'm like, how do you even have control over that? I have a specific demographic that I'm trying to reach. I would much rather pay for paid advertising than rely on some sort of service that is not even reliable. Just don't do it. Because every single time I see those influencers that have 100,000 followers and 20 likes per post, I just know that it's not a thing. And trust me, getting it for clout is not going to be a thing. Getting followers just so your account looks legit is not going to cut it. You are much better off building, and having 500 real genuine followers and then having 100 of them or even more engage every single day. Okay, so that's how you build connections. And trust me, you do not need 100,000 followers to be able to sell your offer. You really need just 1,000 true fans, like I always preach. And I actually am just rolling out a brand new Instagram growth guide that just looks like this. and I share the exact steps and strategies that you have to implement for your Instagram account. Essentially, it's kind of like a done with you Instagram account audit, where we audit what are you posting, what's your engagement strategy, what is your relationship nurturing strategy, what is your content strategy for every single week, and you get to print everything out and follow step by step to give your account a facelift, and then you're going to be well on your path to attracting those thousand true fans on Instagram. So go ahead in the description box and grab it. It's only $7. I wanted to make it super affordable for everyone, so go grab it. Strategy that is outdated number 4 is tagging random big accounts in your posts with the hopes that people are going to see them. Now, I remember actually doing this myself, so I'm extremely guilty, and I was just using it as a test. I was like, let me just tag some of these accounts and see what happens, and I would tag those big accounts, that like featured accounts that have, you know, like they don't really have a personal brand or any face in front of them. They would just post like regular content and tips and strategies and like inspiration, motivation kind of content. And I was like, I know it's not going to harm me, it's not going to harm them, but I'm like, what if people go and look up the, you know, the posts where they are tagged, and what if they find me? But again, why would they care about me, right? So why would I even tag those accounts? It doesn't make sense anymore, because no one would really give a crap about my account if they just go and look for their account and their content. So you are better off using hashtags and engaging and nurturing your audience. And again, I'm talking about all of this in my guide, so go grab it, but just do not tag random accounts. Now, if you do a collaboration with somebody, then by all means go ahead and tag that account, no matter how big that account is. If you just collaborate with a big creator that has, you know, 50,000 followers, that's not gonna look fake, right? But only if it's an actual collaboration post. Outdated tip number 5 is using locations and hashtags in stories. So this no longer works. I'm actually going to show it to you here on the screen as well. You know, every single time you go into a hashtag or story, there's usually a circle, and generally, you know, a couple years ago, I believe in 2019, 2020, you could click on it and you would see the stories under that particular hashtag or under that particular location. And it would always be interesting to see and discover new people like that. And, you know, I would use it to get my account discovered as well. And while it was working, you know, pretty decently, like depending which location you're at and, you know, how you've used it, but it's no longer a thing. Like that little circle doesn't show any information anymore. It doesn't show any stories. Locations do not work either. So there's really no point using that. And I actually had this conversation with a client of mine when I onboarded him a couple months ago, and he was like, hey, so I want to use hashtags for my stories. Which ones do I use? I said, none, because your account is not going to show up. So you're better off saving yourself the time and just don't do it. Outdated tip number 6, using emojis or periods or dashes to space out your text. Now, we've all used all sorts of different tools and strategies to like make sure that your text is not a big paragraph, like all squished together. But it's no longer a thing. Like Instagram rolled out their new feature, I believe 2 years ago, to where you don't need that. You just type in a regular caption with the way you want paragraphs to show up, and it's just going to show up just like that. So no need to reinvent the wheel, and yeah, just save yourself the time and headache of using any kind of outside tools. And outdated tip number 7, it's kind of not necessarily outdated, but if you are posting on stories or Instagram Reels or Instagram TV, or like now known as Instagram video, if you're not including captions on your long form videos, whether it's stories, Instagram TV, or any kind of form of video where you're speaking to the camera, you're likely going to lose a lot of people, because people a lot of the times watch stories and videos without the sound, or we're just lazy to listen these days. So it always helps to have captions. Now, you may not have captions in your stories or even on TikTok. Like if we're gonna like switch the conversation to TikTok or Instagram Reels, totally fine. There are outside apps that allow you to do that. Go and research, or like if you have any questions about the specific apps that I've used to edit captions, because I am over in Latvia right now in Europe, so I still do not have captions on Instagram nor on TikTok. So it is kind of annoying, so I always have to do a lot of like manual work with that. But yeah, make sure that you do use them, because you're gonna lose a lot of people if you don't. So there you go, those are the 7 outdated tips that are no longer a thing. So I really hope that you implement those in your account. Again, if you want to dive deeper into Instagram and actually uplifting your account, then go ahead and grab the guide, the $7 guide for Instagram growth. I will leave a link down below in the description box, so go check it out. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, make sure that you hit subscribe down below and hit the bell sign to get notified every single time I post a new video. And in the meantime, check out these videos right here. I have so many different playlists about social media, content marketing, and Instagram. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.